Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and welcome to a special episode of The End of the Road for the actor William Hartnell. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with the name, he was the man who played the first Doctor in the series known as Doctor Who. Currently, in the year of 2017, there are 13 proposed Doctors. I believe 14 if you count the War Doctor as well. Potentially. It's hard to keep track of so many regenerations. Regardless, I wanted to talk about Mr. Hartnell because we have a personal connection. And unfortunately, again, Mr. Valiant could not be with us. And I feel my time is growing short. So, without further ado, I present to you the life and career of William Hartnell. To start, I would like to talk about Mr. Hartnell's early life, before becoming an actor and such. He was born January 8th, 1908 in St. Pancras, London. He was an only child to his unmarried mother, Lucy Hartnell. Raised partly by a foster mother, spent many holidays with his mother's family of farmers, where he learned to ride horses. And interesting fact, he was second cousin to fashion designer Norman Hartnell, a fashion designer who had gotten awards for his work on clothing for the royal family. Unfortunately, Mr. Hartnell never knew his father, and dabbled in petty crime as a child. At the age of 14, through a boxing club, Hartnell met the art collector Hugh Blaker, who later became his unofficial guardian, and arranged for him to initially train as a jockey and helped him enter the Italia Conti Academy. This was an independent school for children ages 10 to 19 and a theater arts training school. Theater was a passion of Mr. Blaker's, and he paid for Hartnell to receive some polish at the Imperial Service College, though Hartnell ultimately ran away. And that covers the early life of Mr. Hartnell. He did come from some humble beginnings, and through some good mentorship from some of the important adults in his life, he dabbled in a darker path, but ultimately found his way towards something better and brighter, and making his own future. And I will move on to his career. I have to finish this. He entered the theater in 1925 at the age of 17, working under Frank Benson as a general stagehand. Hartnell appeared in numerous Shakespearean plays, including The Merchant of Venice, Julius Caesar, As You Like It, Hamlet, The Tempest, Macbeth, as well as appearing in other shows such as She Stoops to Conquer, School for Scandal, Good Morning Bill, and performed in Miss Elizabeth's Prisoner. An interesting fact about Miss Elizabeth's Prisoner, he actually met his future wife, Heather McIntyre, during production. His first film appearance was in 1932 in the film Say It With Music. At the outbreak of World War II, he served in the British Army in the Tank Corps, but was unfortunately invalidated out after 18 months as the result of suffering a nervous breakdown. Was cast as Albert Fosdyke in Noel Coward's film In Which We Serve. Unfortunately, showed up late, was berated by the director and forced to apologize to all involved, and was then fired. So, he did not get to appear in that film. After this, he continued to play comedic characters until he was cast as Sergeant Ned Fletcher in The Way Ahead, also known as the Immortal Battalion in 1944. Basically, his role was playing a rough veteran tasked with training conscripted civilians to fight in North Africa. After this role, he was typecast as a policeman, soldier, or thug generally. A tough veteran, very rough, strict business by the books, and such. Played the sergeant in the first Carry On film, Carry On Sergeant, a long-running film series that, as of this recording in 2017, has 31 films, from 1958 to 1992. Also appeared in the Balting Brothers film, Heavens Above, as a town councilor, alongside Peter Sellers. 1959, played Will Buckley, another military character in the film The Mouse That Roared, and gained his first regular appearance on television as Sergeant Major Percy Bullimore in The Army Game, which ran from 1957 to 1961. Again, cast as a tough guy kind of character. Had a supporting role in the film version of This Supporting Life in 1963. And gave a sensitive performance as an aging rugby league talent agent known as Dad. And moving forward into his most famous role, Doctor Who. Hartnell's performance in This Sporting Life was noted by Verity Lambert, the producer who was setting up the show Doctor Who. Hartnell was initially uncertain about accepting a part in a children's show. Lambert and the director, Waris Hussein, convinced him to take the part, though. The Doctor was the character that gave him the highest profile and is the role he is now most remembered for. So, very good choice, Mr. Hartnell. I very much appreciate it. Hartnell later revealed that he took the role because it got him away from the typecast he had held previously. The rough sergeant, the thug, the policeman, etc. Also, having 2 grandchildren of his own, he came to relish particularly the attention and affection he got for the role. A description I've heard for the Doctor originally was, Father Christmas, an academic, and just 2 other characters rolled into one. So naturally, children are drawn to him. The first episode aired on November 23rd, 1963. November. Anyway, sorry. Hartnell earned a regular salary of 315 British pounds per episode in his final season in 1966, the equivalent of 5,385 pounds in 2016, which was the equivalent of $6,600 US. Just an interesting fact. According to some of his colleagues, he could be a difficult person to work with. Though some, Peter Purves, who played Stephen Taylor, and William Russell, who played Ian Chesterton, as well as Verity Lambert, spoke well of him even 40 years later. Hartnell's deteriorating health. He suffered from arteriosclerosis, a hardening and loss of elasticity of the veins, as well as poor relations with the new production team in the series, following the departure of Mr. Lambert, ultimately led him to leave Doctor Who in 1966, unfortunately. The departure brought about the idea of regeneration, and Mr. Hartnell was adamant about who he wanted the second Doctor to be. There is only one man in England who can take over, and that is Patrick Troughton. Unfortunately, many early episodes of the series have been lost due to the BBC's early 1970s purge. Basically, they were having issues with storage, lack of space, lack of continuing rights, to run certain shows, scarcity of materials, things of that nature. So this was not malicious. It was a matter of practicality. Because of this, unfortunately, 97 of the first 253 episodes of the series have been lost to time, mainly in seasons 3 through 5, leaving 26 incomplete serials. And then moving on to later life and death. Hartnell reprised his role as the Doctor in the 10th anniversary special, The Three Doctors. Unfortunately, Mr. Hartnell's health prevented him from starring in the special, but an agreement was reached so that he could sit during his performance and read his lines from a cue card. This would be his final work as an actor. His health worsened in the early 1970s. In December 1974, was admitted to the hospital permanently. Sorry. In early 1975, he suffered a series of strokes brought on by cerebrovascular disease and died in his sleep of heart failure at age 67. He was cremated, and his ashes are buried at the Kent and Sussex Crematorium and Cemetery. Hartnell was married to Heather McIntyre from May 9th, 1929 until his death. So their marriage lasted 46 years. They had one child, Heather Ann, and 2 grandchildren. And unfortunately, Heather passed away in 1984. To be fair, she would have been quite a bit older in this day and age, but still, it's unfortunate. One of his grandchildren, Judith Jessica Carney, wrote Mr. Hartnell's biography, Who's There? The Life and Career of William Hartnell, originally published in 1996 by Virgin Publishing, and again in 2013 for the 50th anniversary with Phantom Publishing. I actually have a copy myself. This was to be a small parting gift for Mr. Valiant. I hope he takes the time to read through this and at least talk about more of Mr. Hartnell's life once things are concluded. Mr. Hartnell had 69 film appearances from 1933 to 1963. He appeared in 18 television series, in 166 different episodes across said series from 1955 to 1973. I don't really have much else to say at this point. Besides, for those interested in the origins of the series of Doctor Who, feel free to look at the 50th anniversary special, An Adventure in Time and Space, featuring David Bradley as Mr. Hartnell, and Mr. Bradley will portray Hartnell again in the Doctor Who Christmas special, Twice Upon a Time, in the holiday season of 2017. Sorry. As I'd said previously, it feels like my time here is growing short, and I wanted to record this video for Mr. Valiant. Don't worry, everything is going to be fine. Mr. Valiant will return, and things will be as they were. Mr. Hartnell, I cannot thank you enough for your portrayal of the Doctor and your contributions not only to television but also theater and the performing arts. On honestly, I feel like things would be a lot different if you had not played the Doctor. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. Sorry. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, that was the life and career of William Hartnell. Thank you for... Sorry, I need a moment. Oh, my head. Oh, my aching head. Light. Damn it. Wait. What happened? I feel... Doctor? Doctor? Oh, shit, I gotta check on this. Ugh, damn it. Okay. It's gonna be calm. Everything is gonna be fine. Just take a deep breath. And look in the mirror. That's it. Oh. It worked, Doc. It worked. I got my hair back and... Wait. Stop. Did you... Why am I... Whatever. Everything's back to normal. Doctor, we... did it. Damn it. I didn't even get to say goodbye. Thank you, Doctor, for everything. You know, you started the series and it's grown into something great and wonderful and epic. And, you know, without you, I don't know where the world of science fiction would be at this point. But you're not here for that. Damn it. Oh, Mr. Valiant, you are quite the card, I have to say. Though I had expected a few more pleasant words from you. No, fear not, dear boy. I'm not gone yet. I wanted to have at least one more conversation with you before we parted ways.